Hey guys, welcome back to Senegalese Twisted. I am finally back with another review for Maîtresse d'un homme marié. I am going to review episode 17 of the third season. However, before I do so, we need to talk about what has been going on real quick. As you may have seen in the trailer, we have a new TAHIROU. Yesterday, the real TAHIROU has actually posted like a statement, and yes, he confirmed that he left Maîtresse d'un homme marié, and he also said that Kalista, the writer of the whole show, also left. I think that that may be the reason why Maîtresse is not what we, are used to. And that's all that I wanted to say about it, so I'm just going to dive right into it. The episode starts with Biram and Jalika shopping, and they're just teasing a bit because Jalika is telling Biram that she hasn't forgiven him yet. I understand your point, but there's no need to be mad still. And he's just really checking her out as well. And he actually tells her that, you know what, from this whole store, you can pick and choose whatever you want. Everything you want, I'll buy it for you. Then they come at the cash register, and Biram actually wants to pay for everything. And Jalika stops him and she goes Dutch. She's like, you know what, I'll take 100,000 Sefa and he will pay the other 100,000 Sefa. And she just sets a boundary because she tells him that, you know what, I will not go back together with you, and you know what, you can do anything you want for the children, but the rest we can share it like 50-50. But I low-key think it was just an ad for the store. That's what I think. Then there's an unexpected scene between Lala and Philly, and they're just reminiscing about their friendship, and they're even talking about a friend that they have in common that actually went to Lala first and then also, went to Philly. I think they were just trying to get like the scoop of their friendship and the state of it, so they were just laughing about that, talking about that. And at one point Philly's like, you know what, Lala, come sit down because I need to talk to you. And she just wants to ask her about how it's going between her and Sheikh. Lala stops her because she's like, you know what, you should not think that my life evolves around him. He brought me shame, he made me suffer, he hit me, and he broke my arm. She, emphasizes to Philly that, I should not forget about that either. But, Philly is more trying to convince her to say that, you and Sheikh are a beautiful couple, and you should not forget about the good times. However, Lala tells Philly that, you know what, if it was only love that could keep me together with Sheikh, then I would never have divorced. However, there is more, such as respect. Just saying that, if there's no respect left, then there is nothing there for her. And she has a good point. But Philly brings up, the court session that they had, and that everything seemed so different over there. She also brings up, that Sheikh must have a lot of regrets and everything. But Lala tells her that, you know what, I opened my doors for him. Philly even teases her and is like, the doors of what? Your house or your heart? And she just wants Lala to think about it and not make a decision yet. Then we see that Dalanda, Ben, and the twins are busy, and then TAHIROU 2.0 comes in, and he just tells them that he was at a seminary and that he had to stay there for a couple of days or something. And Ben is just like attacking him right away because she's like, where does your luggage come from? Where have you been and everything? So that was really weird. In this scene, you can really see that Ben was really kind of vicious. And at one point, even TAHIROU is just, making a joke to Ben because she's eating mud. And usually pregnant women eat a lot of mud. And he's like, oh, I think that we should get you an echo to see if you're pregnant. and she's like telling him that no, not necessary because of men like you. Then Jellica meets with the lawyer, and she's just really concerned about the television item that they have done, Regina and Lala, and she's even expressing that, you know, if it wasn't for her brother-in-law's ex-wife, Lala, that she would probably, you know, go hard. But she just asked the lawyer if what they were doing was right and if they were able to do so. The lawyer is telling her that, yes, I understand your point. However, they are just trying to get the media and the public on their side, but also you should know that the judge is not going to be influenced by this. And then Jellica's like, yeah, but my father is dead. He cannot speak for himself, and all he has is his honor, which she will do anything to defend. Because she's still convinced that these are all lies. Then Regina and Dalanda are visiting Rocky. She's eating, and they just, you know, ask how she's doing, and she's just expressing that she needs to go back to her cell soon, like the next day or the day after. And Regina and Dalanda are just like whispering like, oh, how can they do this without giving us any notice, and is this even normal, especially because she's still pregnant. And Regina's just, you know, telling Rocky that, you know what, we will take care of it, don't worry. And Rocky wants to know how Mustafa is going. They fall a bit quiet. However, they explain to her that that's the reason why they're there, because they want Mustafa to actually plead not guilty, because there is no proof that he was there. If they do this like this, then Mustafa does not get to go to prison. And Rocky tells them that she understands because the other lawyer, Amidou, explained it to her already, and that there is a small chance that she has to go to prison. There's no means for them to communicate, so Dalanda just proposes that she writes him a letter. Then we see that Biram is decorating because there's a birthday, and Amsa comes in, and as soon as Amsa comes in, he's like, you know what, just go to the kitchen because I have no time for you. But of course, Amsa is Amsa, and she has to say something. She's like, please change these colors of these balloons because it seems like you are decorating a child's party. Is your mom a child? And Biram just tells her that, you know what, I do not want any problems. My mom's birthday is today, and I cannot have this. Then Page comes in, and he's like, children, please, today I want peace. It's Madame's birthday, and I do not have time for this. And Amsa's like first to talk, because she's like, so if he does something that's not right, we don't talk about it? And Page is like, you know what, you are right, but today, please keep the peace, bury the swords, because you guys need to have a ceasefire. But as soon as Amsa leaves, he talks to himself, and he's like, you know what, she's right, because it looks like I'm decorating Amina's birthday. Then there's a short scene with one of the twins, and she is on a video call with a guy that is clearly much older than her. Ben catches her, and afterwards she curses out the guy for a pedophile, and she's like really mad, which is understandable. And we go back to Amsa and Biram, because apparently Mère Diagne and Page are having car trouble. And honestly, Biram and Amsa do not know that they are on a date, and Biram is clearly very upset, and he wants Amsa to actually, you know, bring out the food. But Amsa is like, no, it's your mom's birthday, we have to wait for them, and you know, car trouble doesn't take that long, they'll be here any minute. But of course, Biram is very stubborn, because he's like, just bring the food, and she's like, I'm not your mother. And then he's like, oh, you can never be my mom, but maybe you can be the maid. Yeah. At the same time, Pagé tells Mère Diagne about his plan, and he's trying to convince her that it is going to work. However, Mère Diagne is not convinced because she's like, no, I know Biram, I know my son, because his mouth, it only brings trouble, as well as the fact that he cannot let any woman pass by in peace. And she just wants Pagé to take her home because she does not trust her son. Then we go back to Amsa and Biram, and Amsa is just telling Biram that, you know what, I know my uncle very well. He put this together so that we can, you know, match make or anything. And she's just explaining that to him, but Biram doesn't seem to understand it, and he's like, no, us together. And then he proposes to her that, you know what, maybe we just, you know, make them believe that they did it, and we just pretend that, you know, we're friends, but outside the house we can be Iran and Iraq. It's just crazy because Amsa's like, okay, as long as you behave. Biram is, you know, agreeing and just asking her nicely this time if she can, you know, put the food out, and she does. But as she's doing this, she is being objectified. Like, it's really uncomfortable, but it's just Biram, and it's just crazy. And at the end, Amsa's like, couldn't you do this your damn self? And I'm like, that's the proper response. Then we're back at TAHIROU 2.0 with his family, and Ben is just like, you know, on the twins because she only gave them like 5 fries, and I don't know if she is fat shaming them, but she's also telling them that fries are not good for them, and it's a whole mess. But at the same time, she's also telling the twins that they need to do their best at school so that they can get married easier, faster. And then of course one of them is talking back because that's what they're used to, and she's like, well, why are you still here then, unmarried? And she's like really, you know, complaining to Dalanda about how this child is talking back. Of course Dalanda is, you know, sticking up for Ben and telling the twins to leave her alone, and at the same time TAHIROU 2.0 is disassociating and thinking about Jalika, and that he should not have left, and that he should have spent this particular night with her. All in all, this scene was a mess. Then we have the scene where Mustafa is reading Rocky's letter, and Rocky's letter is actually really beautiful because she's just explaining to Mustafa that it is her biggest pain and regret that she has involved him in such a big mess, that he is now far away from his friends, his family, and his music career. However, he should not forget that she is carrying their child, who is a product of their love and their union, and that way Mustafa is never really far away from her. She says that she knows that their child is going to look like Mustafa, have his good heart. However, the child is going to need Mustafa to guide him through life. She also says that, you know, she knows that there's a chance that she will go to prison. However, that Mustafa should listen to the lawyer Amidou for Rocky, but mostly for the baby. And one thing she also says is that do it so that I can forgive myself, which is really important. She ends the letter by saying that Mustafa should go back into the world and make music for her, for the baby, and she knows that music liberates him. And at that moment, you hear his song. Also, he makes his own music. He is a musician, and that's his song, and he's singing it. And I think, and I really hope that he will get out of prison. In the last scene, you see that TAHIROU 2.0 is calling, and he's like sneaked outside, and apparently he's calling Jalika, but Jalika doesn't pick up, so he has mommy on the phone and he's telling mommy that I love Jalika and she's my wife, etc, etc. At the same time, Ben is coming outside because she's like, why is he calling people at this time? Ben attacks him and is like, what are you doing? I have been putting in so much effort so that you can have Dalanda, and Dalanda as well has done so much effort for you. And this is where TAHIROU 2.0 declares all his love for Jalika. But little do we know, Dalanda is on the balcony, and as he says, Jalika dama ko bëgg, Jalika, I love her, she is listening. And that is the end of that. That was it for episode 17 of the 3rd season of Maîtresse d'un homme marié. I think that the departure of, first of all, Maïreme, Kalista, and the original TAHIROU is a result of why it's a bit messy, but still I am, you know, curious to see how everything is going to turn out. And yeah, I don't know, I really hope that Dalanda heard what TAHIROU 2.0 said. And yeah, I cannot wait for Monday if they are on time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.